What's up? What's up? What's up? If you see me on your screen and I'm talking to you, it must be Friday, 9 o'clock East Coast time, 6 p.m. for the folks there out west, 6 a.m. if you're watching from Australia, I guess. Good eye, mate. Good eye. So, tonight's guest, special, dear special friend of mine. He's literally the person I've known, besides my own family, he's literally the person that I have known since 5th grade. Seriously. Went through 5th grade, all through high school, days of college, people going to graduate school, and is one of my dearest. I literally would take a shot for this guy. He means that much to me. His family, sweetest people ever. And he's a smart dude. And he's a dude you don't want to mess with either. That's the other thing. He's just all around a Renaissance guy. So I can't wait to bring him on. He's been, he's someone who taught me a lot as well in different aspects of the world. And he's also into martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specifically. He's been an activist in the New York City area, out in the Los Angeles area. And so he's someone who I wanted to have on tonight because I'm starting to get pretty tired of seeing stuff on the news that I just can't tolerate, man. I just can't tolerate it. So we'll be discussing that. Just want a big shout out to everybody joining us this evening. Jonathan Treuba, good to see you. Dan Bashai, Alan Dragrove from the Great White North. Christopher Hewitt hasn't missed a show yet. Gem Girl 1975, you're close behind. Dan Bashai, good to see you. Libby McDermott, good to see you as well. Mr. David Madison, holy God, he's got his show later on tonight at 11 o'clock. End of the night with David Madison on the Romero Indie Brigade. That will be at 11 o'clock tonight. I'll be jumping on that. It's his 1-year anniversary show. I can't believe it's been a year since he's been on the air. We also got Mr. Scott Meany, artist extraordinaire. Mr. Scott Schiaffo, David Madison's co-host. So good to have you as well. Sarah Dueth, good to see you. She's a celebrity rep. She has her own repping group for people for conventions and appearances. Eduardo Escasa, good to see you, sir. Eduardo. CJ Robles, I talked to you earlier this week. Good to see you again. And Joyhan Sung, good to see you as well. Well, thank you for joining us. So I hope your week has been good. Good news overall, wouldn't you say? We had the J&J vaccine approved for emergency use. And then they joined up with Merck, where if you drive anywhere in the central southern Jersey part of New Jersey, usually large buildings with hundreds of acres of lawn before you see them, that's usually some sort of secret J&J or Merck site. People who drive down Route 1 know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, they teamed up. Can you believe it? This is what it was meant to be, for things to team up to get things better. This is what the Defense Production Act is about, making our industry here in the United States work together for the common good of people. They're working together to put together this latest vaccine. Congratulations. The one-shot, too. It's the one-shot vaccine. So we have 3 that have been approved. Apparently, there's like 6 others making their way through. There's even one that's going to be a nasal spray in the head. So you just take it and sniff it like you would back in the day for the cold medicine and flu shot, as a matter of fact. So it's good to see that this is giving people hope. Presidents say that hopefully every adult in America could have a shot by May, the ending of May. That's awesome. This summer might be an actual summer where I could get out on the road and meet you folks in person. And finally get this economy roaring back, because I know everybody's just dying to get out, dying to get out. So bad choice of words, I know, but seriously. So tonight, the topic I'm bringing up is a pain in the ass subject, and it's racism. That's right. There's not going to be a lot of ha-has, hoo-hoos, and funny gachaws with this subject, because I'm sick of seeing these bigoted attacks against the Asian American community. Bullshit. These people here in America, they're working hard for their families just like all of us. Some of them, a majority of them, are in the first responder field. These are the doctors, the nurses, the orderlies, people in restaurants cooking food. Bullshit. So I had to, this is the show I didn't want to do. I don't want to do a show about this. But here we are. Tired of it. Let me just read you some of these things. Now, look, the roots of the roots of anti-Asian sentiment, it's nothing new. It can be traced far back as the concept of yellow peril and the Chinese Exclusion Acts that treated Asian American immigrants as threats to the national security of America in the 1880s. But that surfaced on a larger scale last year. I know. Japan bombed us. I got it. I understood all that. And the initial reaction. And the U.S. government making our soldiers, the way to fight an enemy is to demean them and make them into subhuman, stuff like that. But that's bullshit now. Because that's not happening. But now, as of the larger scale of this level of this year, as reports trace the origins of the coronavirus back to China, according to the organization Stop Asian American Pacific Islander Hate, from March 19th through December 31st of 2020, 2,808 firsthand reports of anti-Asian hate incidents were collected from 47 states and the District of Columbia. And of the reported incidents, 7.3% of the reports counted elderly Asians as victims. What were they doing to you? Seriously. Several viral videos of attacks on Asians, pedestrians this month have heightened concerns. A Filipino man had his face slashed with a box cutter on a New York City train. I saw it here in the local New York City news. It literally, like from here to here. 52-year-old woman shoved to the ground in Flushing, Queens. An Asian woman punched in the face on the subway platform, and a Los Angeles man beaten with his own cane at a bus stop. That report from the Washington Post. So, activists are fed up, man. Quote, people are fed up about not being heard, not being seen, and waited for help, said Will Lexham, an activist who participated in the San Francisco Chinatown street patrols and organized rallies in New York. We are not getting the allyship we need, the resources we need. We have to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps. Another report from the Washington Post. This is what the police is for. This is what the hate crimes unit is for. And we need to put pressure on them to do more. Last month, 84-year-old Visha Ratanpakati died 2 days after the Thai man was shoved to the ground while walking in San Francisco. Days later, a second incident saw a 91-year-old man violently attacked while walking in Oakland's Chinatown. And the latest in a string of reported physical attacks and robberies targeting Asian men and women in the Bay Area. And then on the other side of the country, photos of Noel Quintana. We talked about this, about his face being slashed with the box cutter. And here's the other thing. No one came to help. There were people around on that platform. No one came over to help. One of the first memorandums that President Biden released was to condemn xenophobia, racism, and intolerance against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. Stoked by what the memo referred to as unfounded fears and perpetuated stigma. Racism. Come on, man. Call it what it is. The release cited estimated 2 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders serving in the front lines of the coronavirus crisis as healthcare providers. 2 million first responders. These are community members. Despite these increasing acts, he said, of intolerance, Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders have made our nation more secure during the COVID pandemic and throughout our history. That's what the memo said by our president. Vice President Kamala Harris also has spoken out specifically about the recent cases in her own home state of California, taken to Twitter to condemn these xenophobic acts. This isn't going to be a ha-ha funny kind of show, folks. I'm sorry. But we have to realize what's going on. These are people. Mothers, fathers, grandparents, daughters, sons, husbands, wives, neighbors, good friends, your physician, your first responder. We can't be treating them like this. All right. I'm angry. This is the truest form of a rant right here. But this one has an important point. Let me bring on my guest. My guest is one of my best friends in the whole wide world. He worked for the New York City Department of Education as a conflict resolution counselor. He's worked in LA for many, many years on this subject. He's an avid martial artist. He has his own podcast and streamcast called Fight Dub. We'll be talking about that as well. Please, everybody, welcome to the show, Mr. Bertrand Wang. What's up, good sir?
Yeah, what's up? Yo, Brian. Yo, thanks for having me, man. Yo, I mean, how's it going, man? I have so many feelings going through me right now from your intro. I mean, first of all, thank you for such an awesome intro. And it's true, Brian and we go way back to just being kids and running around in streets unsupervised because our parents were too busy working, you know. But yeah, right. But I mean, also, I mean, I'm just so fired up listening to you talk and reel off all these attacks and especially on like older people, man. I mean, what is that? You know, like it's unbelievable. Yeah, that you would sucker punch like an elderly person walking in the street with a cane. Like that is
Right.
about the most cowardly thing I think you can do. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Their own pain. Like this is not America. This is not us. This is not us. They blame them for a virus that had nothing to do with them.
Yep.
And they think that they can turn their violence towards a helpless victim like that. It's so disgusting.
Totally.
And it's got to stop. And we have to pressure our politicians, our police departments, the FBI, to really step up and prosecute these people.
Yes.
You know,
hate crimes.
There was just a case in New York where the person said, "Oh, I didn't like they caught the guy," and the guy said, "I didn't like the look of him." But they said the DA still dropped the charges of the hate crime because they can't prove he went after him because of his race. He said it. He didn't like the look of the guy. What's that?
Right.
That's kind of
hello. Yeah. Right, man. Yeah. It's unbelievable that these spikes seem to rise they come out like every 20 years or so. Like you were talking about, you know, back in the day, I did a lot of activist work in anti-Asian violence, and that was at kind of like the early '90s into the mid '90s around that time. And we were seeing a lot of stuff from the '80s into the '90s, kind of riding off the post-Vietnam War kind of effect, in this country, where Asians were still vilified for a really long time and targeted for these kind of hate crimes. And then again, like every 20 years or so, these kind of China again kind of coming up as a superpower and all this stuff, especially with the coronavirus coming up and fingers being pointed and stuff. And there's never any doubt that this stuff spikes during times of economic recession, when people are out of work. People are going crazy. Exactly. Yeah.
It's always to blame the other for everything. And it's not just Asians. In the 90s, when we were of recruitment age and the Gulf War happened, it happened to Middle Eastern descent people. And then it happened again when Asian people, when it comes to the virus or what have you, there was always a scapegoat, even during the last 2016 campaign of invasion coming from the south border. It's always people color who are our problems, as opposed to our politicians not putting in policies that help everyone, not blame others. And so just like now you see the government trying to blame, like, oh, we can't have this much money going out to people, it'll just make people late, which is bullshit. But to the point of once again Asian American and Pacific Islander abuse that's going on based on this false narrative that the coronavirus, they brought it over, is horseshit.
Oh, please. Absolutely, man. And what did you read? How many? 2,200 or something? How many hate crime reports?
Oh,
from the 47 states?
2,808 first-hand reports of Asian hate incident. That was from March 19th through December 31st of 2020. And that was done by Stop Asian.
Wow. Okay.
That was done by Stop Asian American Pacific Islander Hate.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's reported, right? That's not even the whole year, and even still, that breaks down to what? What's like 28 divided like I don't know, like 70. I don't know, a crap load a day, basically. Like
absolutely.
60 or 70 a day, or something ridiculous like that. I mean, it's unbelievable. And like we talked about, they're not picking on guys who look like our old friend back in college, Gary Choi, like big, capable looking dudes. No, they're picking on older folks, and that has got to be the worst part about it, and it's just so sad our country's reached that point, where I feel like, where, as you know, Brian, I have a daughter, me and Joanne have a daughter, and look, honey, I'm wearing the shirt. Yeah, yellow power, baby. Woo! Right? Now, but we have an 8-year-old who's been in jiu-jitsu now for like going on 4 years, because it's just such a crazy world. You know what I mean? And and we feel like that needs to be part of her education,
Absolutely. But it's also part of her heritage too. So, like in Ireland, like us Irish kids, we get to do Irish step class. That's it. Dance classes or Irish hurling. Well, Asian people is great. Put them in some sort of martial art, which is one of the things that is so funny about America, was that we so love Asian culture in every other way. We love Asian food, sushi and Chinese food, Thai food, and every type of food you can think of. We love, movies that come out of there. We love the fact martial arts is such a beautiful discipline, and so many different, like origami is a fantastic, paper art form, and so many different things. But the other thing too is that they don't realize how much Asians came here to America for a better life and really built the foundations of this modern country. And to this day, constantly are innovating here in America. And, we can't see China or the Chinese people or Japan or Korea or the Philippines or Southeast Asians, or for that most anyone in Asia, as the governments. They are not the government. The people from China are not the leaders of the government in China. They don't want to be repressed. saw the freedom marches that were going on in Hong Kong, where people were getting laid out, and
Hell
now
yeah.
Myanmar, where this military junta is
Mm-hmm.
taking over and shooting civilians who are protesting for democracy. They are just
Yep.
like us. They just want the same things as us, and they
Mhm.
want to live in a peace and safe society. And so it's that type of thing that I say to myself, why do we still today still have to go? A friend of mine here, Dave Madison, players in the NBA called Jeremy Lin the virus. The hate and stupidity can be found everywhere. I mean,
Yeah. Oh
a
yeah.
guy who's obviously skilled at what he did, broke a lot of barriers getting to where he has to be getting to be in the NBA, and
Totally.
they still have this kind of hatred. And it's not, and just so you know, it's not white people doing this either. A lot of these attacks are happening from other people of color, which I always found like crazy. Like, yo,
Hmm. Right.
I'll get along
Right. It's like
kind
the
of shit.
same reason, like I don't know, like one of the leaders of the Proud Boys is like a Cuban dude. You're like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how did, what? What?
I mean, that just shows
Yeah.
you that ignorance and bigotry it
Yeah.
doesn't care about color or
It's
creed or
deep.
race or money. It's
It's
deep.
deep. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
What do you remember of your time uh, organizing protests in here on the East Coast? You're at Rutgers, whether you
Oh
were in
yeah.
New York.
I mean, at that time too, there was. I mean, you remember too, the New York Police Department was super hard. It was coming off a lot of corruption stuff in the early '90s. So at that time, there were a lot of cases where we were seeing kind of similar stuff, uh, like older Asian ladies who were vendors who were getting like beaten by police or unfairly shaken down, by people. So I I mean, I guess it seems now thinking about it, historically, they're the most vulnerable, so they are going to be targeted in these times, you know. And I think if we think along historical lines too, you think about, you know, the, like Brian's, like you said, the thing about anti-Chinese sentiment, it's not anything new in this country. It's really old. It's hundreds of years old, and it's been coming. It comes in waves every 20 to 30 years. The Chinese Exclusion Acts were only repealed in like 1940 something, and even when they repealed them, it was only amended to allow like 105 Chinese to enter a year. And that's until like the 60s. And then you have Vietnam War, and there's a whole another great rise of anti-Asian sentiment. So as we see, and then kind of again going into this, I mean that's coming off the Korean War and Vietnam War, and yeah, I mean there's a lot of stuff. And now that China's been such a superpower and at the forefront of the Corona thing, I mean it's once again, big villain on campus.
Yeah, it's definitely an easy mark on that
Hmm.
part. There wasn't like, oh, Ebola virus, you son of a bitch, and there was never that going on,
Hmm.
saying you're bringing Ebola to anybody coming from West Africa and things like that. But it's this kind of thing that we out there. Now I know my viewers, we all got our heads pretty much straight. We know what's going on, but you gotta look out. We have to be our brother's keeper, plain and simple. We have to look out for our Asian community. You can't just look the other way. You can't ignore it. If something happens in your community, make sure the police follow up on it,
Hmm.
and make sure you
Hmm.
try to educate each other, man. Because
Hmm.
this is just look. It's China today. Who is it tomorrow? You know, it
Right?
could be like,
Exactly. Exactly.
it's just that they'll be coming for you next, as the phrase
Hmm.
says.
Hmm.
You know,
If they come for one, it opens up for everybody, for sure.
you have a fan out
100%.
here.
And you can,
Gilbert.
right? Yeah. What's that?
We have a couple of comments here. Joyanne said, "Go Bert," and then another
Thanks,
one
babe.
here. Gem Girl 1975 says, "It's a shame so many were so easily brainwashed into thinking these days." Well, that's the thing.
Right? I mean,
That's
honestly, yeah, yeah.
that's the problem, is that
This is the
you
age
have
of belief over reason.
yeah,
Sorry,
you
sorry,
gotta
Brian. Yeah, belief over reason. Totally, right? Absolutely. Yeah, like what? Facts? They don't mean anything. I just believe this, and that's enough. Yeah.
exactly.
Right? Yeah. Oh
So
man.
knowing you for a long time. So here is a photo of you where you've been on the front line. I believe this is this New York City or?
Yeah, that's in New York City, Chinatown. Actually, that's in front of a restaurant called Jin Fong, which is about to close after 43 years of being open in New York. And they're struggling to kind of keep it open because it seems like the people who own it are trying to just close it and cash in, whereas there's still a lot of people that kind of really depend on that for a livelihood, and they struggle. We struggled to organize it, and we successfully organized it into a unionized restaurant. So all the workers there are union, and they depend on that place to make a living. So that's happening right now in New York. Yeah. But this
And
picture was from the '90s, from when we were organizing for it.
right, and anybody who ever went down to Chinatown, it's one of the largest, literally one of the most well-known restaurants there on the
Yes.
corner of Canal, and they were paying their workers and treating them like crap. And you guys brought the attention to the press to it and got it unionized, and those people,
Hmm.
well, but as you're saying, with not only the economic turndown that the coronavirus, this pandemic has done, but people are staying away from the Chinatown districts of all cities
Yep.
because
Yep.
some weird kind of perception that they can get it more there than anywhere else, which is untrue.
I know.
Um,
I
we-
know. Yeah.
here's
Ask
here's
any
another
Asian person during the pandemic. Ask any Asian person during the pandemic how many funny looks they got when they started coughing around other people, like more
right,
than other people. You know what I mean? They're like,
right.
yeah.
So here's another of you. You were on the cover of Local Express, Asian American Arts and Community.
Oh yes, yes. '90s performance art. Asian American artistic scene was really popping in New York. There was a lot of really cool things going on there. We were doing
What?
performance art, trying to make movies. I mean, one man shows. Yeah, doing music. Yeah, Brian. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And this was all activists in the art stuff for me, for sure.
Right. The 90s were very much like that. You had filmmakers like Spike Lee, doing
Hmm.
Do the Right Thing, Malcolm
Yep.
X, Afrocentric kind of films. Asian Americans started getting more politically active in their films as well. And so these type of arts and pride in your culture, because all these cultures make our culture America. That's what we are. We call ourselves the melting pot, but we like to keep certain ingredients out, apparently. We only
Yeah.
like
Right.
certain that certain people like. We don't like all the ingredients, and that's not a melting pot. But you also dug in one time. You were pretty much in the music scene. I remember this vividly. You and a good friend of ours, John Stewart, not the
Oh,
John Stewart.
John Stewart. Yes,
You guys had a band called Yellow Peril.
that's right. Two-man Asian hip hop coming out of college, inspired by like, the likes of Public Enemy and those kind of groups to really talk about politics. And that's where we really started, was writing about like Asian American history, and actually I think the first thing we wrote was an incident that happened at school, and we were just kind of like going off on an unofficial rebuttal against a student publication that was really, jokingly using an mock Asian accent, which we didn't appreciate, and we kind of like protested. But that was the first song that we did, and we did a bunch of, like, we wrote a bunch of songs. We got colleges brought us out. A lot of Asian American student organizations brought us out at the time. We were all over the place, from Florida all the way to like the upstate New York and around there. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, and Yellow Peril, John
Bus.
Stewart was a good ride, baby. And Brian actually introduced us at many a gig, if I remember correctly. He
That is
emceed us,
true.
and he lended his vocal talents to give us the big intro.
That's right. And that was the thing is, Bert knows this obviously, but my core circle of immediate friends were pretty much everybody of color. It was, Latino, Japanese, Chinese, Dominican, some black friends as well. And it was always funny because we would go to different clubs if you were playing a club, and we would go there early to check out what the technical aspect, the sound, the acoustics was and stuff like that. And, we'd walk into these, sometimes the Asian American group was hosting the party, or the Black Heritage group was hosting a party on the college campus. And I'd be coming in with you guys, and they'd be like, "Bert, yo, What's with the white boy?" And everybody be like, "No, no, no, he's cool. He's down. He's good. He's all right." And then we'd
That's
get
right.
in there. So, it was always a lot of fun traveling with you and working with you with those gigs, especially. You then went on to be a part of another group, which was more like a living color kind of rock vibe to it. Which you can tell us the name.
Oh yes, we called ourselves Super Chink, and then later when we were going to release an album, we were going to change it back to Yellow Peril because we wanted to be more serious. But Super Chink definitely brought the shock value. Four Asian cats getting up on stage. This picture is actually the legendary CBGBs, which is not there anymore. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But four cats got up on stage, and we rocked, boy, and people were like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You
we were
guys
angry.
definitely
Yeah, we brought it.
you
Yeah.
definitely you also brought the knowledge too. Your lyrics, you spit the knowledge. I'm gonna just share real quick a small clip of one of their performances here right now. So just listen to a little bit of this because you're gonna enjoy it, folks. Here we go.
Hey! It's called Feel the Rag! Come on, come on. So from the top of the call me shout, who the top of the skills, they say we don't need to see. From the top to make you feel about a little bit of history and what the shit means to me, the map of the front. Telling the tale about cheeks that kill, working on the rail, Chinatowns, getting torched through the night. A hundred right next trying to make it all right. Trying to stay alive from waiting one days, denied education, put this in the vision. Helping these things, you go for more. You go to the work and make it move on. We don't start Tony, don't be a snake. I'm on the America, rock your way. Follow the set, take it yes. Wake up, America,
Wake up, America, feel the rap.
Come on, come on. Oh, feel the rap, feel the rap. I'm on the wrong path. Oh, feel the rap, oh, feel the rap.
Oh yeah.
Oh, feel the rap, feel the rap. Oh, rap.
It's so funny how, and yet it's not funny how this could be sung tonight and it still is
Yeah.
applicable.
It's sad.
Unfortunately, we
It's sad.
still
Yes.
to this day having this bullshit issue still
Mhm.
going on. Just
Right.
crazy.
When the low bar is still the low bar, it almost doesn't matter how high you bring the top level. You know what I mean? You still hitting that rock bottom.
Yeah, it's still getting that way where it's this message still has to get out. It's
Exactly right. Where it's still like right. You're exactly right. hmm
It's
It's like
so
if you listen to Marvin Gaye stuff in the '90s, you'd be saying the same thing. You know what I mean? Kind of like, wow, what he's talking about is like, inner
So we
city blues.
exactly. So we have Scott Meany says, great band name. Both of those names were great, personally. Anthony Frischetti, he's actually a photographer of live bands. Funky, he says the music. Dan Bashai, as a big metal fan, I like it better than Limp Bizkit. All right, that's a weird kind of compliment, but all right, he'll take it.
Exactly right.
It's these type of things that I thoroughly enjoyed hanging out with Bert. You also took a stab at doing some acting. One time, this was your headshot at the time.
Yeah. What you looking
Don't want to mess with that man. Don't want to mess with that man. And you went on to do a couple of films, actually, right?
Yeah, I did. Got a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing. Did this Japanese feature where I got to do some fighting and choreography and everything with a friend of mine, Kenny Wang. Shout out to Kenny Wang, who's done a lot of also fight choreography and stunt stuff. But I did a little TV stuff. Got a little Law and Order time, as most people do out there. And did some commercials as well. But yeah, a little minor success here. Yeah, a little taste of the acting.
What did you prefer doing? What did you prefer doing? Did you prefer doing fight choreography or actually being in front of the camera?
Well, both. Well, the fight choreography I did was actually I acted on camera as well, so I got to meet Kenny and I. We got to kind of plan it out with another fight choreographer off screen, and before we shot it. So I mean, that's a lot of fun. I mean, on camera fighting is it's a lot of adrenaline. You know what I mean? So as I was joking, you get to basically have a experience a fight without any of the bad things. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who's going to win, who's going to lose. Kind of like
Exactly.
WWE. You may not like the outcome, but you know it's going to be scripted and you're going to get it done. And you're not. And
Right.
listen, you're not a joke. I mean, here you are. You're in front of a Carlson Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the South Bay area.
Yes, sir.
School you go to. Here it is.
Represent.
Just recently, this past January, you receiving your purple belt. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. Look at you fishing all. You know what? Hats off to your producer, which is you.
You look, man, you deserve all the respect you should get. That's a lot of discipline to get that done.
Thank you, man.
There's no joke. And to be honest with you, a big round of applause for your wife allowing you to spend so much time at the gym.
Oh, honey, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I got to show this too. This right here is a big, the Pan 2019 medal, bronze medal, albeit, but still a medal for jiu-jitsu competition.
Right on, brother.
Yes, yeah.
Congratulations. And now you're passing it on to your daughter. So that's really cool too. Yes. Like father, daughter, daddy day with you two is slightly different than, hey, dad, you want to have a tea party? Yeah, no. You're taking people down.
That's right. Choke them out. Yes, and no, big ups to my wife, Joanne, aka Joy, and Joe, for holding down and also setting the foundation for both of us to do jiu-jitsu, Kai and myself.
Right on. She's definitely, and she's a frontline medical person as well.
Absolutely. In fact, she's a respiratory therapist, which is like the very front line, basically, of the pandemic. And on that note, I mean, if you're stupid enough to attack an Asian person, and if you're unlucky enough to have attacked an Asian person who's in healthcare, then you think about it, you've just basically taken out like a special forces person in the war against the pandemic. Like, who's going to replace that person? You? Probably not, right?
Exactly. And that's what people don't understand is a lot of these people are helping us because we're all in this together.
Exactly.
I've been saying this for months now, that we're all in this together. And you can't let this frustration of the economic downturn or the frustration of just the pandemic happen. This is nature, people. It's going to happen. It happened years ago and it'll happen again. We just have to pull together, and blaming a specific race is not going to get it done. They're going to investigate. We'll find out where it came from. But at the same time, that doesn't help. What helps is making sure we all have vaccines and getting it done.
Right, exactly. Hey guys, it's called a history book. Check it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, but some of them like to stick to certain books, like one in particular, and make that the book they pay attention to.
Like Mein Kampf. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Or The Art of the Deal, or anything else for that matter. Right. Let's see. We have a comment here. Congratulations from Dan Bashai on your award, sir, your medal. Christopher Hewitt also saying congratulations to you as well.
Thank you.
Dan Bashai saying sweet. L Love 07065. Gem Girl, I don't know about fun it is. What? I don't know about fun, but it's sure an excellent distraction for what's making policy on. All right, whatever that meant. So we'll see what happens here. And so it's fun, but the other fun thing that you do is you've mastered not only your martial art, but you've taken your love of martial arts, and not just for the actual physical learning of martial arts, but your love for martial arts since we were a kid in movies, and you follow MMA rabidly. And you guys, you and another friend put together your own podcast, Streamcast show called Fight Dub.
Yes, sir.
And Fight Dub you can find on Facebook and on YouTube. And it's you, yes, you and your co-host, this gentleman here,
Devin Muller. Yes.
Muller, and he's from a production company called Skitbags, if I remember.
That's correct. Yeah, no, and you have a connection there. It's really
I do.
funny how
And
small the entertainment world is. Yeah.
was really, really weird how the small world it is.
Yeah.
Mick Gooch, who was in Jay Muse's movie, and that I was a part of, but he was
Right.
also part of Jay and Silent Bob reboot. And Mick is one of the founding members of Skitbags, owners of Skitbag
Right.
Productions.
Yes.
When I found out that this was your co-host on Fight Dub, I was like, holy crap, I know
Right.
these people.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I love about Fight Dub. I love when I went to the YouTube page for Fight Dub and read the about, like, what's the description? I love the description. Fight Dub isn't always a blood sport. In fact, fighting or lack of it can be quite hilarious. That's what we focus on in Fight Dub. We have professional fighters and comedians as guests to communicate on everything from classic MMA battles to movie fights to fake martial arts instructors. Fighting is in our human nature, and when people dress up like medieval warriors and battle it out, we'll be there to make fun of it. And remember, everybody talks about Fight Dub.
That's right. Rule number one about Fight Dub. Yes, thank you. Yeah, no, I mean we got like you said, it combines a lot of loves of different things and fighting, and you know, and it's funny, Brian. It what we do is basically do something that we did growing up while we're watching movies, like what Mystery Science Theater did, but specifically on fights, is watching fights and being like, oh my god, oh!
A lot of which happen to be Steven Seagal movies.
Oh yes. Oh, for sure. Between Russia and Steven Seagal, I'd say that accounts for probably 40 to 50% of our show's content. But let me tell you, Steven's. Oh my God, absolutely. Oh, so crazy, bro. But yeah, just real quick, we have with those Facebook pages, and we have something called the main event, which we watch like a MMA fight or something that that everyone kind of knows. I think. Then we have another section called "Are you sure you're a black belt?" When we look at those kind of things, right? We have a section called The Art of Fighting Without Fighting, which is movie clips, right? And we look at those. And then we have another section called Technique of the Week. And Technique of the Week could be anything. For example, we had a big one of our first ones was Steven Seagal running like a girl. And we broke that down, like a whole clip of him like running with the arms and stuff. So yeah, we have a lot of fun with it. And yeah, and we want to have you. I mean, we've been talking about this for a while, so we're gonna have Brian on. Absolutely on something soon. So everyone look out. We will have something for you all.
Yes, and we'll break down some hilarious fighting scene of some sort, I'm sure. For those just joining us, we got my good friend, longtime friend, Mr. Bertrand Wang, activist, podcast host, and also martial arts aficionado, and also a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And for those, if you missed it, wait until you see the repeat. You'll be able to catch up on the show once we're done here. But we go back since 5th grade. We've known him.
Oldest friend in the world.
You and your dad were big into tennis. So there was always tennis rackets, cans of tennis balls, always around your place in Palisade Park, New Jersey at the time. So we were bored. And we decided to take 2 tennis rackets behind the apartment building, which had, the apartment building then had an overhang for people to park cars and then other cars. And we decided that hitting a tennis ball back and forth to each other was just not exciting enough. You know what makes this exciting? Lighter fluid. Lighter fluid
makes everything better.
Lighting a tennis ball with that fuzzy tennis ball fur with lighter fluid. Now it was an interesting game of tennis that we were so nuts. And quick waiver. Do not try that anywhere. Not at home, nowhere. Don't do it at all.
And definitely don't let it roll.
Yes. So in this back and forth, Bert is jumping the finish here. In this back and forth, one got by me, decided to roll and kept rolling and rolled and stopped under a car. And we were like, yo, it's under a car. What the fuck? So we went under there. we threw our rackets at it or something. But at one time, then we were just like, run, and we were like, we can't just run. We had to get this tennis ball out. So that was a lot of fun.
That's funny.
There was times with Roman candles, playing Roman candle wars.
Roman candle fights, yes, with winter jackets. That's good times.
So we've seen it all together.
Yes. Yeah, you internet kids, you kids raised by the internet, you don't know nothing.
So Mike Travis says, how does Bertrand feel about Stipe? Is he a great champ as his longevity shows, or is he the field just weak right now?
Stipe Miocic is no joke. Yes, the heavyweight division is super weak, but he's fighting Francis Ngannou again, which is a rematch. But Ngannou is definitely a different fighter, if you know about him, than he was before. He's much more experienced, even though he's still young in MMA overall. But Brian, this guy is from Cameroon, and he's just got this gnarly. They say he grew up like working in like salt mines or something, like digging as a kid. So he's got this insane strength. Like when he tags people, I mean, he just puts them right out. You know what I mean? So he's a very, very dangerous dude. So yeah, Stipe is a great champion, but we'll see. I'm interested. I'm so stoked for this next fight. Good question.
Right on. Good question. By the way, Mike is a fantastic voiceover guy. He sounds exactly like I always forget his name. The guy from Family Guy, Joe from Family Guy in the wheelchair, who also is who's also in the voice of Seinfeld, Elaine's boss. And I always forget the name.
Yeah, what's his name?
Mike's a great coming from the great state of Ohio, as always. It's so funny. Dan Bashai said about our tennis ball incident, the early edition of Jackass. Yeah.
Seriously, if we had cameras back then,
we didn't have Wee Man. That's it. He keeps tells me all the time. Mike always tells me this. Patrick Warburton. He does a really great version of Patrick Warburton.
Oh, that's right. That's hilarious. Yes, we were like Jackass Junior High.
Seriously, we were. But you know what? The greatest thing though about it was our friendship also led to us, enjoying role playing together. I mean, it was you.
Jesus Christ. I'm just
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Exactly. It was you. I know now I've blown your cover with all your MMA friends. It's you and Nick Martini in Palisade Park. Sudden at the group that I set, our homeroom was like me, you, Nick Martini, and like Joe, I forget his name. And Rocco. It was at Joe Rocco. And it was Mr. O'Hagan's homeroom.
Oh man.
Was where Mr. O'Hagan. This was our geography teacher in 6th grade or 5th grade. Mr. O'Hagan, also known as Mr. O. And he would literally he would say to the kids as we left the room after the class, he loved, remember kids, do LSD. And all these kids were like, what? Learn something daily. He thought he was hilarious. But at Mr. O'Hagan's room, homeroom, we Dungeons and Dragons came up for some reason. Either someone had the Game Master's Manual or Player's Handbook or something. And next thing you know, someone was organizing a game at Nick Martini's house. And we went there to play and we played modules and stuff. And years later, we'd be doing role playing in my friend's basement for weekends at a time. And now I've gotten back to it in the last 6 months. Has been a lot of fun. There was a 30-year gap in between the last time but it's been a lot of fun. So we got some people saying hello. Uriel, good to see you, Uriel. And Elaine Judice, good to see you as well. For those just joining us, we have my good friend, Mr. Bertrand Wang, activist, host of Fight Dub, and also martial arts aficionado. We were talking earlier in the broadcast of the unnecessary violence that's going on against Asian Americans and Asian Island Pacificers as well across the country for no reason at all, especially the elderly. So please, if incidences in your town or your city, make sure that these people are found, prosecuted to the full extent. It's unnecessary. It's disgusting. It's not
Right.
what we're all about. So
Right.
definitely check out if you've missed the beginning of the show today. I got a little intense. I'm not going to lie, but this subject demands it. We can't let this go on like this.
Mm-hmm.
These are my brothers and sisters. These are my good friends. These are our people in our neighborhood, and we need to help each other and stop the bullshit now. I'm sick of this horse shit of people believing things that are just not true, have basis in no fact whatsoever, and we just got to stop the madness. There was a girl back in the day who had a program called, and her catchphrase was "Stop the madness." Just stop it. Just stop the madness. So, Bert,
Yes.
every show, I have a thing called the speed round questions,
Oh,
and I
sweet.
know,
I love it.
and I know that we had a serious topic, but my audience loves speed round.
Okay.
Do you want to take part in our speed round questions?
Hell yeah, I'm down for speed run.
All right, let's get the music started first of all. This is our speed round music,
Oh yeah.
which, by the way, is provided us by Mr. Scott Schiaffo. Music by Scott Schiaffo. Go to scottschiaffo.com, where he has license-free music. Once you buy the CD, you can use it for whatever you like, or if you like to have your own music score for your film or TV project, give him a shout. scottschiaffo.com. All right, here we go. Speed round. It's pretty simple. It's A or B choices, either or.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
I like A or B.
Activism or martial arts?
Ooh. Oh man. Gee whiz. I gotta tell you, they're both connected to me, but I'm gonna say martial arts. B.
Science fiction or fantasy?
Ooh, tough one. Also a tough one, but I will go, as you probably know, fantasy.
You love it. Long flight or long drive?
Long drive.
Action or comedy?
Definitely action.
Mask or no mask?
Definitely mask.
Highway or side street?
Side street.
Yeah, you're like me. You like to get around that. Movie or episodic?
Right. Episodic.
Yeah, everybody loves that episodics. Booth or table?
Oh, booth. Booth. Nothing makes you feel like a don like a booth. Sorry.
Cantonese or Mandarin?
Ooh, that's a tough one, man.
That's going to get you in trouble.
I'm gonna get me in trouble because I'm a natural Mandarin, but I've grown to love Cantonese, even though my Mandarin is better. But I am studying Mandarin again now, so online. So I'm very stoked about that. So
Right on.
just gonna say Chinese. Yeah, I'm just.
All right, here we go. Unifying man. I see that.
That's right.
Clear or cloudy sake?
Ooh, I love a clear man, but in the winter, we like the cloudy.
Buying or selling?
Buying.
Laughing or crying?
Oh, laughing until I'm crying. No, laughing for sure.
Love or money?
Love.
Beer or mixed drink?
I'd say mixed drink.
You always go for mixed drink. All the time.
I'm not. I
As
don't mean like. Yeah, exactly.
long as I've known you, you've always been a mixed drink guy. You were like a Don when it comes to mixed drinks.
You know.
I know.
Someone with a little oomph.
I know, but I knew when I was putting this together, I was like, he's going to say mixed drink. He's always a mixed drink guy. All right.
Oh, I know
LA?
you plotted out all. You must have plotted out all my answers.
No, not at all. LA or New Jersey?
Oh man. I gotta tell you, wow. That's a tough one. I gotta say, New Jersey.
Ooh. Jet Li or Bruce Lee?
Oh, Bruce. It starts and begins with Bruce.
Lovely daughter.
Thank you.
Old school or new artist?
Oh, I'm gonna show my age here. Old school, baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Arm grapple or sweep the leg?
Oh, definitely arm grapple.
And favorite curse word? I know your daughter's standing right
Hold on. Go. Favorite curse word?
there.
Wow, that's a man. That's a tough one. There's so many good ones, and there's just so many good ones for definitely different good occasions. But
Well,
good all-purpose one is God damn it.
You do say "goddamn" it a lot, so that's a good.
Yeah.
And finally, this is the O'HalloRANT. The rant is in the title. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Wow, what is my biggest pet peeve? I know what it is. People who don't say thank you or acknowledge you after you hold the door open for them, something like that.
This is the first time ever, ladies and
Piss me
gentlemen.
off. Piss
Now, we
me
have
off.
another guest who that is their biggest pet peeve. If you remember early last season, we had Mr. Stephen Menon, the filmmaker, and he said that was his biggest
That's
pet
hilarious.
peeve.
You know what I mean? I just judge you. I can't help it. I just judge you so much. You know what I mean? Like,
It's just manners. It's just
Right?
common decency, people. There you have
Yeah.
it, folks. That was the speed round with Mr. Bertrand Wang. He nailed it out. He not only nailed it, if he was playing Family Feud, he would have matched the earlier answer given by one of our previous contestants.
that's right.
That was definitely awesome. Well, it looks like I'm keeping you longer because your daughter's like, Dad, dinner. So let me let you go. But let me tell you, brother, I love you to death. I would
Right
take
back
a
at
bullet.
you. Right
And I
back
want
at
to
you,
thank
bro.
I want to thank you for coming on this serious show. Not the show, my show in general, but tonight's episode specifically, because this has been eating at me. And I knew the person I wanted to hear from on this issue would be you, because I've known you to be a part of this activism and this issue for as long as I've known you. And I want to
Well,
thank you for your activism.
no, and I want to thank you for actually using your venue as a chance to bring light to this to people, and you know what I mean, and just to spread education, and that's what it's all about. Like you said, you know, we get as people, we just all got to do the right thing. Just do the right thing. You know what I mean? Even if it puts you out a little bit, that's the point of doing the right thing. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, look out for each other. That's what we got to do, is look out for each other instead of pointing fingers at each other. And that's that, you know?
That's what I do, sir. I live by one rule pretty much. Everything I do, every decision I make, do unto others as you want done unto you. That's it.
100%. That's it.
Golden. That's the reason why they labeled it the golden rule, because it's the number one rule. If you live by that, you're good. You're sailing. We're all sailing fine on this then.
Honestly, yeah. Right?
But
Just
seriously,
pay attention. Yeah.
that's it. Just pay attention. Be polite. Don't
Mhm.
see the color of someone. Don't see the, just we're all human and we're all trying to make it here. We're all in this
Right?
together.
Exactly,
Well, thank
bro. No, seriously. I love you,
much.
man. I love you,
I
bro.
love you too. And I can't wait to be on the Fight Dub. Everybody
Yes.
check out Fight Dub.
Yes.
You can find
Thank
that on
you.
Facebook. You could also find it on YouTube. The links are in the description of this episode below. So please check it out. Yours truly should be on it in the next couple of weeks. So keep an
Absolutely.
eye out.
We'll keep an eye out. Yes. For
And
cross
we'll have
for cross
good old
promotions, baby.
Yes, we'll have some good old laughs like we used to, making fun
Hell
of
yeah.
Steven Seagal and whatnot.
Because let's
Brother,
face
thank
it, folks,
you so much.
he's lost his
And
mind. Sorry.
yes, and I'll talk to you in the next couple of hours. Otherwise, I'll see you Tuesday.
My man.
We'll see you then.
Big ups,
That's
love.
Bertrand Wang, everybody. I gotta say, man, it's good having people on that I truly, truly respect, truly, truly admire, and truly, truly enjoy their company. And Yeah, he don't play. You're right. Bert does not play. And that pisses you off too. Yes. Not having someone say thank you after holding the door is definitely something that people need to do more. Just do it. If you're holding the door. I know sometimes when I've done it, and if someone walks like rushes through or whatever, doesn't even acknowledge your existence, sometimes I'll do the, yeah, you're welcome. Something of that nature. But, and that's obviously passive aggressiveness on my part. We're all victims of it, But I just got to say, this was not this was not my usual episode. And once again, I said that I wish I didn't have to do an episode like this. And if I have to, I will do another episode because this is an important point. This is an important point. And I also just want to share some of the sites to check it out. If you want for more information, please, as someone's calling the house for some reason, please go to, here we go. Please go to Stop Asian American and Pacific Islander Community Hate. Let me bring up the banner for that. You want to go to these organizations, stopaapihate.org. And if you're in the New York area, especially where cases have risen as well, you want to go here to the aafederation.org, which will also help with mobilizing the community, getting funds to people who are in need of it, making sure pressure is put on to the right authorities to get these kind of prosecutions done, because these events can't go on. They just can't go on anymore. So check out these organizations, stopaapihate.org and aafederation.org for more information. We got to look out for our community, man. They're part of our community. They're all part of our community. And we got to do this. We just got to make sure that we have each other's back when it's all said and done, that we have the love that we're supposed to give each other. Everybody loves Chinese food. Everybody loves sushi. You got to love the people who created that. Everybody loves manga. Everybody loves anime. Got to love the people who make that. So I want to thank again my great friend, awesome guest, Mr. Bertrand Wang. If you missed the beginning of the episode, please check it out. He's a great guy. I also want to thank Scott Schiaffo for providing some of our music tonight. Find Scott Schiaffo at scottschiaffo.com. I also like to thank the folks out there, Mr. Scott Meany, Uriel VR, J-Man520, Dan Bashai, GemGirl1975, Christopher Hewitt, Elaine Judice, Mike Travis. We got also tons of the other people. We had David Madison on earlier, CJ Robles, good to see you as well. Jay Shangable, good to see you as well. E-Love, good to see you as well. Gem Girl, Anthony Fraschetti, also Scott Schiaffo was on earlier. Joy Han Sung, thank you so much for joining us as well. Eleanor White, thank you as well. Thank you for all for sticking it out this past hour on a Friday night at 9 o'clock on the East Coast here. I hope you guys have a great time this weekend. Be aware of people around you. Be aware of people's needs. We're all going through a really tough time. So I want to say thank you guys so much. Let me see if I can find something here. Here we go. Little Scott Schaffo music. I'm going to be on later on tonight, 11 o'clock in less than an hour. I'm going to be on David Madison's show, End of Night with David Madison, which is also on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch on the Romero's Indie Brigade. Dave Madison's End of Night show is hitting his 1-year anniversary. So he's going to have a bunch of us on. Tiffany Shepis is going to be one of the guests as well. Scott Schiaffo, who is his co-host, will be there. I'll be on there as well, celebrating David's 1 year of his show being online. Thank you guys so much. If you want to follow along, please follow along at these sites. Follow and subscribe on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. If you want to follow along me personally, and then there's the Facebook for the O'HalloRANT, the show you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. Don't forget, wash your hands, wear your mask, stay socially distant, and for God's sakes, treat each other like you want to be treated. That's what it's all about, folks. It's all it's about. We'll see you next week, hopefully, here on the O'HalloRANT. I want to say thank you once again to Mr. Bertrand Wang, and for all of you, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I love you. Good night.